Okay. Uh, uh, First of all, I just want to say um, I'm thankful that I had the chance to say what I need to say before the day comes. And I'm also thankful that I was able to see this fraudulency for what it was in regard of as target individual. As you know, this channel is about being my experience as a target individual. What I speak about is about being a target individual, and I make sure that before the day comes when I can speak about it, I said enough and spoke enough about what's happening to me. So the day comes when I'm not around or unable to speak, I can feel okay that I left my testimonial, and plenty of it. And one thing is for sure is I found myself more and more on the right. Like, listen, let me just introduce myself, because sometimes I just go ahead and speak about what's happening without introducing myself. I'm a target individual. That means I'm a human subject where the government is implementing this disturbing program onto us. What we are as human subjects. And there are most of us target individual, a lot of us target individual have what we call like V2K and synthetic therapies. Those technology are extremely extremely advanced, extremely sophisticated. I mean, it's funny how they try to make you be scared of things that are scary, but this technology that we are subjects to in regard to what they implementing on us is just beyond. That almost other things that should be scary to you are not even comparable, because we as human subjects in this program, they can do so much to us, and these things is done remotely. My body is breaking down not because somebody is literally doing something to me. My mind and my organs and my bones are breaking down not because of somebody literally hitting me or beating me into it. It's because this technology, which is coming from these entities like the DARPA and DoD, are implemented on us and slowly breaks us down, destroy our body, our ability to function in many ways. And so my brain, my thoughts, my everything, it's just being destroyed. And so, like I said, synthetic telepathy, directed energy, electronic weapons, all these things being implemented onto us. All these things that you can even, if you go on DARPA's website, you see that they're working on these things. But it's not only just the technology that's implemented onto us. You hear a lot about gang stalking, community mapping, things where you hear neighbors involving themselves. So it appears like they contract civilians to partake, and they create this ecosystem around a target individual to destroy their life and make them be subscriptive to a psyop or a falsified reality where they try to present themselves as if this is run by anything else by a large, massive government. They come up with falsified reality, but also it's meant to gaslight you into accepting how they can manipulate you. It's like they can implant a false persona by making you experience things that you will never experience naturally. But because this technology has the full ability to rewire your brain and change the way you perceive, think, react, and even your memories, to get stimulation that you will not have, to have dreams that you will not even have, to have memories that you will not even have, to have thoughts that you will not have, to have reactions, stimulations that you will not have naturally. But once you're a target individual, the things they're capable of doing to you are unbelievable. It's as if your brain, well, is it appears that your brain at this point is connected or put in this supercomputer that can overlay different thoughts, reactions, and control you, and control your reactions. And then this external support of perps, which is what we call people who are contracted by these governmental entities. They're supposed to like make you accept these manipulations. They use fear tactics. They use noise campaign. They use all these different methods to try to get you to accept this thing. They want you to identify with the manipulations. They want you to be acceptive of what you're experiencing. They want you to accept those thoughts that you know is not naturally happening. Your brain is slowly breaking down. It's like your brain is decaying, and they can influence your rationality and logic more and more. And so for me, that's been what I've been going through since August 19, 2019, right? And there's people around you that disorient you, that try to get you to be acceptive and do things to disorient you in order to lose the perspective of reality. For example, somebody outside, they randomly open the door, right? In the hallways, I can hear them from where I am. I can hear them coming in the hallways and saying something like, "You're suffering," right? Of course, for them to say that is not to tell me that I will be suffering. It's to tell me that, to disorient me from what I'm saying. This is how they try to keep making somebody kind of lose their mind. Confuse them as you put things in perspective. And so that's what's been ongoing for me. And for me, the manipulations have been very pedophilia-centric, forcing me to just get disturbing reaction toward children, especially little girls, where they tell me what they're doing is, this is how you would feel when you were a child. We busted you thinking this way. Like, they try to make you be like, the way you're experiencing when you see little girls, especially, even little boys. Actually, it's all kids. I just came back from upstairs. I think it was a little boy making noise and they did the stimulation. It's the same thing, right? But they say when it's little girls, it's true because they have mapped it. They make me experience something that I would experience if I was a child, when I was a child. But somehow it was dormant. Somehow it was not being experienced the same way, but they were able to kind of bring it up. It was there, but they had to do something to bring it up. You understand how delusional and disturbing it is, but thankfully there has been a validation, because what they do is very systematic. There is nothing unique done to me that hasn't been done to others. So you understand, they have this tendency of utilizing pedophilia type of torture. They have this system of trying to change and manipulate you to experience things that you will not experience naturally. They have this ability, they have this systematic tactics of using your libido against you. And it's very disturbing in these pedophilia-centric ways. In so many factors, you look at pedophilia is something they continuously utilize to break down target individuals. They try to disturb you. Not only is used for a slanderous purpose, but when they utilize this technology onto you, they make you react in a way that is disturbing, to stimulate you in these disturbing ways. Thoughts disturbing, everything disturbing. And for me, they try then to find ways to make me acceptive of this manipulation by saying, oh no, but you remember when you were a child. That's how you felt. Remember that and they try to find ways to kind of make you feel something that is something that you think that you experienced when you were as young as like 9 years old. It's like, remember you felt like this when you felt like that when you were a kid, like that. So yeah, and then just try to make you think that you feel like that now if that way of feeling was happening today as an adult and aimed at for children. These disturbing ways of thinking that is just disturbing. Is like, no, you have to manipulate a target individual to experience what I'm experiencing, which is me being a target individual. So they play with your brain in these disgusting ways and then warn you of tortures that you're going to experience for you to be accepting of this. It's non-stop. And they want you to identify with it by any means, and you will never. For me, it's never going to happen. Now, is it going to stop what's going to happen to me? No. But would I be subscriptive to this? No. Because the validation that you have, and this is why I make so many videos about it, is so obvious, the correlations, that to the point that people are literally calling it the pedophilia type of torture. Do you understand? Like literally calling this torture being a pedophilia type of torture. So these people are telling you, oh, these people who do the pedophilia type of torture are mapping your brain for you to experience this. You, it's that, and they really try to get you to accept this. Now, it's no need to be frustrating. I think it is more frustrating for them that they have people, that this target individuals literally saying the same thing, right? And they're supposed to be like, no, we're different. It's our money. Our money doesn't do this. It's the kind of childlike gaslighting tactics they're using onto you, and they do everything possible. And for me, it's been disturbing. For example, they'll start stimulating me in I'm with perps. That, for example, we are intimate, and as we're being intimate, stimulate me and start making me think of this kid, this little girl there. It's just disturbing and training you. This is not there. They also play with memories. It's funny that this journal came out addressing that memory manipulation is coming up. It's going to be something very much feasible and doable, if not already. That was in 2016. And they were talking about how ethics need to be applied for this technology that will be, and that was in 2016, capable of changing your memories. They call out the fact that memories are like imprinted wax. You can change that imprint. You can change, because memories are not solid. Their imaginations and other things can be implanted to change your memories. Now, this is a non-military based journal addressing that, right? This is people who work in the commercial world, in the mainstream world, talking about technology is it's coming to the point that this technology of manipulation to memory is coming up. We need to prep in the sense of what kind of legal aspects and ethic aspect we should think about, because this is going to come. One of the points they also called out is like how the manipulation of memories can impact the notion of self. Something like that, right? How can having your memory manipulated mess with the notion of who you think you are? And for me, I've been talking about memory manipulation since 2020. I noticed, I just speak exactly what they do to me, and then it's just obvious. Like, it's sometimes it's easy for me to think, oh my gosh, am I just so much smarter than everybody else? And they're just like, am I so much of a genius? No. The reality, not to dumb myself down, is because these people are gaslighting you and making you, and some of the people gaslighting you are also childlike individuals, so which kind of makes it easy for them to kind of dumb themselves down. But the people are gaslighting you to be acceptive of these things. So they have to dumb themselves down. They have to become something almost illogical, irrational, spectrum-like, to get you to accept these false memories, to get you to accept these thoughts, to the point where I'm saying this since 2020, and every day, every other day, some memory is being changed where I'm getting the reaction I'm having today when I see little kids of all sorts, especially little black girls. Oh, if there's a memory where there's a child, a black little girl, and the best is for them, I notice what memory they like to choose is the memories where things are a little bit less, like it's not somebody that you saw every day. It's not somebody that, the least of a memory was, the better it is. And you go through my memories, search for any videos I made in regard of memory manipulation. You'll see a long list, and you're gonna hear what I say today. Said many times before, not even talking about this specific memory. The way they try to counter this is like, oh, you had the foresight that they're gonna find this. So what you're doing is you're speaking it now before it happens, because you know we're gonna get there. Like they use this, like, people who have no self-respect, in the sense that, you know how childish you sound like, but that's their job. They're supposed to dumb you down, and they call it being at war, because they see things like that. That's like, okay, yeah. Like it's like someone like a kid's like, no, it's because you had the foresight of things like, oh, clowns. Those are clowns. I had the foresight in 2020, and now in 3 years, stupidity. It's like, no, but you know, maybe something, we're gonna find something, and we're gonna bring it. They are such. It is very childlike. I try to kind of base like comical gaslighting. That's why sometimes I laugh about how they want me to think. And when I start laughing, they're like, "Oh, laugh." They're gonna be laughing when they torture you. It's like, listen, they're gonna torture me, but this thing is still comical for you to come up with this retardation of ways you want me to start thinking. Delusional. Listen, this is this new memory, and if you go, please go to anything video I've talked about memory manipulation and listen to how obvious this thing is. They make me think of this musician called Puff Daddy. And out of nowhere, they make me think, because he has like a set of twin girls. And they make me think of when there was a picture of him and his twin girls when they were like younger girls, like little kids. And give me the stimulation they make me have today when I look at children, especially little black girls, and give me that stimulation they make me have, that they say, no, we mapped this reaction to you when you were a child. But now what they're doing is to find my memories as an adult where they can implant the stimulation they make me have today, that they say they mapped it to me when I was a child, and falsified my memories by implanting this false memory with sensation and stimulation that I did not experience when I saw these kids in whatever news and whatever they were. Trying to make you acceptive of what I'm experiencing today as if it's happening naturally, but falsifying my memories. And this, it continues like that non-stop. They're gonna go and find, okay, where can we put this? Like, oh, here. Create this stimulation. It's gonna be like that all the time. And you're gonna hear the same thing I say all the time. And then, to try to disorient me, to create some distortions and disorientation, it's like, no, but remember what you did as a child. Right? The reason why they're saying that is like, no, but remember what you did as a kid. Like I said, this is gonna sound very familiar. When I was a child, I did something stupid as a middle schooler. A moment of just stupidity of a child. This sensation and stimulation was something I experienced, but I did something stupid as a child. And I did something to myself. But now when they make me experience these pedophilia things and even change my memories, no, but remember what you did as a year, you abused. You try to exaggerate what I did as a child. To try to disorient me, because I'm recognizing this memory to be falsified. And I recognize that this is something they keep doing. They keep looking for memory and put some stimulation there. See, we mapped it, you see? It's like, no, of course I know I didn't experience this. It's like, we mapped it. And they keep trying to find something else to implant this false memory, this false sensation in my memory to make me experience this and be like, oh, we matched, you see? It's like me, for them matching is this, make you experience this and then find somewhere else, make you experience the same thing in the memory. And so you see how you felt like this and that. And this interaction I'm talking about when I talk about these people is via V2K. Voice to skull is this technology that can project somebody's voice onto your brain. And so you start having dialogues with people that you don't see. And then there's other thing called synthetic telepathy, where you truly the dialogues that you can have. These people have manipulated your brain, and your brain is, before they start manipulating you, they map your brain. And what that means is they try to, like, all your signature, your brain signatures is captured and then put in a computer device of some sort where they can start controlling you and manipulate you to have experiences that you would not organically experience. But they can also start like creating thoughts where they create dialogues, right? And once they have your brain, when they have mapped out your brain, in regard of finding out your brain signature, you are done. In the sense that they can start making you experience and think in every ways. That's how they can manipulate your memories. That's how they can manipulate your reactions. That's how they can manipulate your thoughts. That's how they can do all these things to your body. It's because your brain is completely manipulated by this computer who has captured your brain by having all mapping out all your brain signatures so they can implant whatever thoughts, memory, whatever they want onto you. And so today, what they try to say is like, no, we map this thing because this, and try to say, no, but we're not manipulating you. You felt like this, like that, and that. We saw that. No, at this point, there's no mapping. It's manipulations. And then see the reactions of when they manipulate you. It's like, it seems like, okay, this didn't, it feels like I'm just a sample, which is the case for this machine learning technique, device, or whatever it is. And it seems like, okay, it's like they're improving how they can manipulate me better. It's as if it's trying to figure out how can we manipulate more and more and more, and to these tormenting pedophilia-centric ways. And with time, it becomes more ingrained, and it seems like it's just this program that's trying to find the best, most efficient way to break you down, disturb you, and fatigue you, and break you down the most efficiently, but also try to prolong things to kind of better understand what's happening, to better understanding what works best in the breaking down of you, of your being. I'm just a human subject, and they use human subject of all sorts in order to improve this technology, and they use the same tactics, including the pedophilia type of torture. And it's like they use the same tactics on different human subjects and see the best methods for this person's breaking down. But the way they try to paint it is in different ways. They almost want you to believe this other way, this other reality they put together. First of all, some people might think that, oh man, this is a cult of beings. This is the government. This is the Chinese government, the Russian government, the mafia. And you obviously, like, if you can easily fall into that fantasy that they've created, you can easily subscribe to the psyop. It's not a mafia, okay? Can people in the mafia be involved? Of course, there's next door neighbors' children, like individuals that can be involved. Of course, a mafia member, like anybody could be a participant. So anybody they can bring anybody of all levels, because there's children involved. Your neighbors that you hear people thinking, oh, it's the 14-year-old next door neighbor doing this. So you tell me that, and some kind of like criminal organization cannot be involved? Of course, but they're not the one running this. The government is running this program, and that's that. And so everybody around you, your whole ecosystem are filled with people who are supposed to make you subscriptive of this, including children. And they're supposed to be subscriptive to this. You know, with me, I'm so thankful of certain things that may be very unique to me or specific to my targeting, because for me, the people who put me in this program, right, it was an employer. They had some connection with governmental entities, and so I know that they're the one who put me in this program. But once you put in this program, my employer is no longer a factor, right? But it's still a bit of a factor in the sense that my employer donated a lot of money to a judge that was running for being a governor, and finding out that back in the 70s or so, when he was 35 years old or so, he was picking up kids as young as 14 years old. It was a problem, and he did things to these kids, and harassed them, assaulted them sexually, did some things to them, and he was an assistant judge at the time, an assistant DA. And so he was somebody with a lot of influence in the area, powerful, and to the point where he would call high schools and ask the high school people to let this kid go so they can go on a date. Right? That's the kind of, and this man is called Roy Moore, right? Yesterday I go outside These people who look very menacing. But at this point, I was like, as menacing as you look, there is something that what I'm dealing with is beyond, is another level of menacing. If you can see a child, somebody or some random person in their PJs that can do so much damage to your body, that they can destroy your body in such a horrible way, you think some tough guy or some criminal guy who is nothing in comparison to the technology they utilize, and they can do so much horrible things to me remotely. And some of the people implementing this are the weakest of the weakest people doing that to you, because these governmental entities are using me as a test subject, and they contracted these bottom feeders to implement these tactics and implementing this technology onto me. So when I see somebody who can physically harm me, who's maybe a criminal of some sort, I cannot be scared of that when I have some of the most sophisticated technology being applied onto me. But DARPA, the Department of Defense, that can fry my internal organs without having to do anything externally. So when I see somebody who can stab me, cut me in pieces, this technology can do so much more. They can actually make me feel like all of this is happening to me, and it's not happening to me. They can do everything they can, and they can destroy all my organs with not even one puncture of anything. They can crush my skulls with nobody touching me. My bones are literally becoming brittle, soft. Nobody has done anything to me physically. And some of the people implementing this thing to me, like people in their sweatpants, and some of them are men, women, some are children, wearing their like PJs, drinking their little coffee. So you see things for what they are, the perspective, the reality of things. I don't even need to be I can have the nicest home. They can do so much horrible things to me. That's why you hear people getting out of their houses, their nice houses, and rather be homeless than being in their house where they are radiated and all these horrible things that are happening to them in their house. But would prefer to live in the street because it's not as bad, and they can move around. So I go outside and I see these people. And I think they were trying to intimidate me. It doesn't faze me. I was like, at this point, you can't, like, the things I'm dealing with is just so more nasty. And the psychological torture is so disturbing. So that you see these people who can definitely do so much horrible things to you. But in comparison to what this technology can do, it's not and on top of that, I know who's really, really the bad people. The real, really bad people. The bad people that you can't even understand. And so I'm outside looking for my Uber, right? And I see one that looks like the same Uber, and this guy just look at me and he says something, he whispers something. I'm like, I guess he's supposed to intimidate me. But I realized, okay, let me show you who's really in charge here, who has the power. Because they want me to identify with these pedophile things they do. Like every time I look at a child, they force me to get stimulations and reactions. But let me show you reality. I pretend to be on the phone. I yell out loud, "Hey, Roy Moore! Roy Moore!" Everybody looked away. They all look like, it's like I said a name of some kind of gods that they should not be mentioned. This guy who's intimidating me just started looking, and I know this guy is not like a nobody, right? I think this person can definitely be somebody in some criminal activities, maybe. But he just got scared and looked in front. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Because for some reason, there is kind of restrictions about this person saying his name. Right now, while via the V2K, some child try to say, roll more. They came and say, I've seen their face, this person, almost like a gangster-like individual, I think, in a nice car. He just got scared. And this is not that's somebody who's, he got scared and looked straight. Other people that were having this fake conversation looked away. They are terrified of this person because I think that these entities have restricted them from mentioning him in these ways, to involve him, Roy Moore, in these ways. See, you can't even say the name of this alleged pedophile. That when he was assistant DA, they were saying that he was picking up kids, calling the high schools to ask these teachers to release these kids so he can come and pick them up. Do you understand reality? This is why I'm thankful that I can always bring that up to have a sense of reality. You know, they like to say it's not fair. For me, it's like, I'm so thankful that I have that. Because it brings reality in a world where they try to create a false reality. Do you see the reality? These are the powerful people. This is what power is. Some gangster that can come in, it's nothing. I said that you can't even say this person's name because you know what the consequences could be bad, that even you who look like somebody, you understand? This is power. For me, I'm already, you see what happened to aggressiveness? This fear that you're supposed to make me fearful. I'd say a name of a pedophile changes everything. So when I'll be in fear and scream and be tortured, they're going to create, because of the reality of things, they're going to try to create a theater of torture to counter this reality. Because the reality is, this entity is contracting this trash here. And I noticed the more like the childlike individuals who want, they love to talk like that. The weakest people, like, they talk this way, and they want me to look, perceive them as these like mystic beings. See them as these mystic beings when they're just like the trash the government uses, like, they'll do this, and they know what to do. They implement what is supposed to be implemented because this is what these government entities. But the government entities that are running this program, like the CIA, the DOD, and the DARPA, filled with pedophiles. Agencies filled with actual pedophiles where they download child porn on the government devices. And the way they catch these people, they leave their computers unattended with child porn on it. And this trash here can't even say the name of a pedophile. You know what they're saying to disorient me right now? Some perps in the hallway try to bring these warnings of they're horny, they're gonna castrate. Just like, yes, do your job, try to change the subject, because what I'm saying is the reality that you're trying to escape from. These people are contracted by entities filled with pedophiles. They cannot even say the name of a pedophile. But please tell me how I'm going to be tortured. Escape from reality. I'd rather get cut in pieces than being terrified to say a pedophile's name. That a grown man just like looks with fear. Yes. Because they understand what to be fearful of. Who really runs this program? Me, I'm just, I'm a subject, and they can do so much, and they feel special. Like, oh, they're gonna laugh and they go torture you. You can't even say Roy Moore. I'm thankful that I never had to put myself to that level. Now, whatever's gonna happen to me, the theatrics, the theater, I ask God, just like I ask him, do not let these people live the fantasy. Let them see themselves for what they are, and God has done that for me. Now, for this theater of a torture I'm going to go through, one, I cannot run away from it. I have to run toward it. I have to run toward this torture, because this trash that wanted to delude themselves into this disturbing fantasy, wanted to escape from reality. I can't. Your distorted reality is not going to be something you can escape to. You're going to live in reality. Me, the torture, I don't want to be screaming. I don't want to be crying, but I will run to that. Split, whatever, I'll go to that and scream and whatever. Because you're going to see how much of a coward you are. And when the time comes, trash. You sold your soul to pedophiles. He warned you. If you try to live your little fantasy, not with me. I will never let them live that fantasy. these people are trash that have been forcing men and women to get stimulations in these disturbing ways and try to find ways to create these false patterns, whatever they can try to bring together, to mix together, to put, implant it, to make you think in these ways. And they're like, oh, we won. Trash, you can't even say Roy Moore. What do you mean you won? To all my target individual, stay strong.